Ni hao. Flimsy lunch tray here, giving you a greeting in Chinese as I continue trying to say hello in different ways, and starting each of these videos is just, I don't know, fun excuse, fun reason to do so. So today is going to be an episode for World of Warships Basics series that I've been working on. We're continuing forward into somewhat more in-depth things, but there are one or maybe two more surface level things left that I want to discuss. And today I want to talk about campaigns, and so we're gonna open that up. Now this is something when I first started playing in October, I don't think I really knew about campaigns when I first started playing the game, because when I just first started playing, it was about random, it was about co-op battles. I didn't really know what campaign battles was about, what combat missions was about, and then I quickly learned the value of the different campaigns that you have. So when you open this up, the first thing you're going to notice here in the center of your screen is these different campaign modes, missions that you can complete. Each one of them different. They tell you about how many missions there are, and then how many tasks are in those 5 missions as a whole. As you can see, this one has a lot. So I guess briefly we'll talk about the first and kind of go through, generalizing some more than others. Another thing to note is the in-progress ones that you have. So before I get into that, for example, let's just talk about Science of Victory. This one's a pretty a base one. So with these different missions that you have, this one is the campaign Science of Victory. You go through, you open one up, and then you have these tasks that you have to complete. And each of these tasks have so many stars within it. And then once you've achieved said number of stars, let's say by 6 or 7 missions, you've completed enough stars needed to take on the final task. And then you can complete the final task, and then that will allow you to enter into mission 2. Now, the one that's nice about Science of Victory, it's pretty straightforward. So these tasks are just in-game things you have to do. Like, for example, this one's tier 3 through 10. Cost 20,000 HP of damage to enemy ships with the main battery guns. Complete the task in random battles with tier 3 through tier 10 ships. Now this is a pretty generalized one. It's not very specific, and if you complete it, you get 50,000 credits. Where then if you go to the final task, usually it's something simple and just completing it. So play one battle, complete the task in random battles with tier 4 through 10 ships, and the reward for that was getting upgrades that you could use on your ships. And then let's say if you go farther, let's say it's this last one, they tend to get a little more specific, and maybe not, you can play only certain ships from different nations. So it costs 50,000 HP damage to enemy ships in a single battle with tier 5 through tier 10 ships. Earn 3 spotted ribbons in a single battle in random battles with tier 5 through 10 ships. Earn 750 free XP. So you can see most of these are pretty easy. It just takes a little time to go through them. So you keep cycling them through. So actually, as a whole, the Science of Victory campaign it's pretty simple, straightforward. And you can see the final reward is you get 7 days of Warship's premium account, which is pretty great. So this is a really great campaign to start off with and getting used to the campaigns. And then when you do not have premium account, you can only select 2 missions. So you can see I'm doing a different campaign right now. It's the newest one that was just added in by Wargaming, called 5 Epochs of the Navy, and I'm on mission 2. And we can see that the 2 tasks I've chosen is Task 5 and Task 8. Task 5 being receive 7 million HP of potential damage complete the task in random or co-op. So this one you can do in either. Battles with battleships New Mexico, Ismail, Bayern, and or New York. So this one is actually quite specific and only gives you 4 different ships to choose from. And then you can see the reward is you get 6 India Yankee flags. More than just task 8 I'm currently working on is earn 8 captured or assisted in capture ribbons in co-op or random battles with destroyers Minakazi, Clemson, or Izislav. And the reward 6 India X-ray flags. And then you can kind of see, oh, well, then it gives you more containers as the final task for that mission. And I want to talk more about this one here in a minute, but just kind of give you an example. But if you have premium account, you can choose 3. So then that tends to mean that you gain access. You complete more tasks quicker. And you want to try to maximize using these. Like if you play one that also helps fulfill another task, like they're both similar. Like let's say you need to get, I don't know, 500,000 damage in random battles, and then another task is get 300,000 damage in tier 5 through tier 8 cruisers. Well, you can end up using your cruiser and you can be working on both tasks. So that helps a lot. Now the newest one. One of the things you have to pay attention to is this one has a date that it'll end. With all these other ones, they don't have any dates of when they'll end presently. This one is strong-willed. And it kind of gives you the information off to the side here of what it's about. It was the chief, Jerzy Swirsky was the chief of Polish Naval Command for more than 2 decades, 1925 to 1946. Under his guidance in the 1920s and 30s, a small but balanced fleet for the young state was created from scratch. Through the efforts of the vice admiral, ships under the Polish flag with Polish crews on board actively took part in various battles throughout World War II. Swirsky's fate into service are very demonstrative of the entire history of Poland in the first half of the 20th century. Now this one is harder. I've messed around it with a little bit, and the reason why I say this is harder is because if you look here, it says earn 3.5 million credits after all modifiers are applied, so that means like signals, camos, and so forth. Complete task in random, co-op, ranked, or clan battles, so there's more battle options, with European tier 8 through tier 10 ships, and the reward you get is 3 European camos. However, for myself, right now, as I didn't realize that one was going to end sooner when I first learned about it, I think last month, that was for my European ships. I don't have a tier 8 or higher. The highest one I have right now is this one, which I'm not going to attempt to pronounce its name, and the Vostras, which I have enough research to go to the tier 7, but Skon, but then I also would need to go higher into the tier 8 to reach the Oland before I can even attempt that. And with how much time is left, and with the different, let's just jump up to, well, let's jump to the last one as an example. So that's similar. 35 million? 35, yeah. So that's a lot. It'd take a lot of time to do. This one's with destroyers or cruisers, tier 8 through tier 10. Tier 9, tier 10, with the Kraken Unleashed. Earned both Dreadnought and High Caliber achievements in a single battle. Second, they had another European. Maybe it was a different, yeah. So, yeah, what was this one? No. But then your final, as a reward, once you complete this campaign, you get a free 10-point European the European commander himself, Jerzy Swirsky, and then 20,000 League Commander XP, and then the special rewards that come with the captain itself. So there's some really good rewards through these. Like I've messed a little bit around in honorable service, so you complete it, you get 3 million credits, which is fantastic, and it's pretty straightforward seeing what you get. And then, like I've made it to this one, and then I decided that, well, let's see what the final reward is what you get. So you get tier 6 premium ship, the Japanese Shinonomi, with a 11-point ship commander, so that's really good. Yeah, most of these are pretty straightforward. And then you also get some other captains, so you can get the, jump to the last one here, the Captain Yamamoto Isuwaku, I've said that one right, and you also get those containers along with credits, Elite Commander XP, so that's a great one. But again, the task will be, yeah, you can see it gets higher tiered with different ships that you'll need to play. But then you can see, like, you are getting pretty good rewards. 5,000 free XP, that's always helpful. Yeah, 15 camos. And then what I've been trying to work on because of love for US ships is the hit hard, hit fast, hit often to get Halsey. So you can see here, earn 50,000 Commander XP with tier 8 through 10 ships, and this one's nice because you can do it random, co-op, ranked, and clan battles. You can see destroy 2 enemy destroyers, gain a victory, and survive in a single battle. So this one's a bit more specific because not only that, but you also have to do it in tier 8 through tier 10 cruiser or aircraft carrier, and it has to be a US ship, as you can see the American flag flying on the side. Or then you go to this one and just get 150,000 HP of damage to enemy ships in a single battle and win the battle in tier 8 through tier 10 cruisers, but there's no nation specific there. And then you go to the last one and you can see, oh, in tier 10 cruisers you have to earn, what's that, 10 million credits? And it has to be American cruisers because you are working to get an American commander. Yeah, and then you also have to utilize using aircraft carriers, so tier 8 through 10. So if you don't have a tier 8 through 10 aircraft carrier, then you won't be able to do this one, but you can see usually it's more signals. But then for the final reward, you get Halsey, who comes with 15 skill points already, with credits, Elite Commander XP, a special symbol, and the perks that he has as a captain upon activating skills. So colored shell tracers, fireworks are launched upon activating the commander's talents. So he has specific talents as a commander. So yeah, so that kind of gives you an overview of what rewards you'll get. Now, for example, this one's rather interesting because, again, if you look on the side, I'll give you some information about the campaign mission itself. So 5 epochs of the Navy. It's kind of going through the history, the 19th, 20th century of ships. So if we open up this one, you have to play ships between tier 2 and tier 4. So that's going to usually be the older ships from the early 1900s, such as, if we reset this. So for example, like the Charleston, entered service 1905. But then you go to newer ships like Tier 6, the New Mexico, 1918, and then the Iowa, entered service 1943. So there tends to be, that is also how this campaign mission works, is that it's just going to keep going up with the different tiers. So again, opening this. And again, it's being specific with different ships to use. And that is one of the things that's interesting about this campaign as a total, because it's actually rather good, because you'll get a tier 9, the Epoch camo, that you can put and link to any tier 9 ship that you have. So that's, let's see if I can click. No, that will probably come with like the standard camo that they'll give you. Something probably like what you see, like for example on the Massachusetts, like detectable range by sea, should have the negative 3% dispersion of shells fired by enemies attacking your ship plus 4%, and it'll probably have something like the XP per battle plus 50%, and cost of the ship's post-battle service negative 10%. So you can see I have this from the Halloween event last year, the tier 8 Infernal permanent camouflage, and you can see how it changes the ship. That I haven't linked it to any ships yet. I think I have one for tier 9 as well, so if I jump to my Georgia, yeah, this is tier 9. So it should be something very similar to this that you would get from completing this campaign mission. But what is interesting about this is having to work up different tech tree lines that maybe you're thinking you can just whiz through this really quick, but if you're like a newer player like myself, you're going to have some ships that you might not have yet. So for example, let's see if I can find it. I think it was in, because when we are dealing with these campaign missions, it's also helpful to look ahead to see what is the overlap. So for example, right now I'm working up the Japanese destroyer line, which is actually going to be helpful. Find it. So you can see, like in the third mission, with these tasks, you're getting into higher ships. So like the Oba, Miyoko, or Devonshire. Yeah, you're dealing with roughly tier 6 ships here. Tier 7 too. Yeah, so like this one, causes 150,000 HP of damage to enemy ships with ship torpedoes. The Fubuki, Akatsuki, or Shinomi, which the Shinomi you can get through the one campaign mode that I showed you, but the Fubuki or Akatsuki, so let's go, because I don't have the Shinomi. So if we go to Japan, yeah, Fubuki or Akatsuki. So right now I'm at the Mitsuki. So as I work up this line, then that's really going to help me, because I'm also keeping in mind that I'm going to need these ships to work on the future campaign missions. Then jump up to this one. I think is it down here? Now the good thing when you get to these two, so like here's the stars. I think there's like 16 stars that you need. You can get those 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. You can get the 16 stars you need to fulfill this to unlock the final task. Where these are harder because you need to have the carrier, midway, or the audacious. Because it tends to be harder to work up. Oh yeah, midway or audacious, and here Shimakaze. So I'm working up that line, so I'm keeping this in mind. Yeah, so here like you need the Buki, Zhao, the Wooster, this Minotaur, Baltimore, Des Moines, or Neptune. So it requires you to have access to one of these said ships that are at a higher tier level. So players who just jump into this at the beginning might not have full access to complete said campaign. So it's something you have to keep in mind, which is why I started off with Signs of Victory and then began to get into the Honorable Service, because they're more general campaign missions that can work well for beginner players. So yeah, so no, these are here. No of as you work on these different ones, the rewards they bring you, as it will help you as a player succeed and move further up the line. So I think that's all I want to say about this. So if you enjoyed today's video, please consider subscribing if you haven't already, but also leaving a like. And if you have questions or thoughts on the campaign modes, feel free to let me know, and I'll try to answer in the comments below. Until next time, take care.